This is the Transformers Studio Series Buzzworthy Bumblebee Voyager class Optimus Prime. The figure is number 102 of the Studio Series line. And here's a quick look at this fantastic Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging. Great artwork. I picked up this figure from Robo. Let's get this bad boy out of packaging. And here is the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime out of the box. And boy, this figure turned out great. I mean, it was much better than I anticipated. I was completely expecting to pan this review of this figure, criticizing him here and there and all that. But as it turns out, there's a couple things I didn't like about the figure, but a majority of the figure I actually enjoyed. And maybe it's a little too early to say this, but he's looking to be my favorite Studio Series figure of Optimus Prime. The figure stands at a whopping 18 centimeters tall, or about 7 1/8 inches tall. For comparisons, here he is with a couple of Studio Series figures, one from the Bumblebee movie, and this one is from the Bayverse films. And here he is with the Rise of the Beasts mainline Voyager class Optimus Prime, and he's in the better scale, obviously, the much better Voyager class scale than this one. This one is just really like a big deluxe class figure. And here he is with fellow Autobots, Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Bumblebee, and from the mainline Rise of the Beasts Deluxe class Mirage. So the figure obviously does not come with this sword. This is from a third-party Optimus Prime figure, the Bayverse Optimus Prime figure I showed off earlier. It does not come with this sword. He comes with two accessories, his metallic sword and his blaster. And let's begin this review with a couple things that I did not like. The head does seem a little bit too small. I don't know. That's the same thing I felt about this figure, that the head was too small, despite it actually looks okay. The proportions kind of look correct. But if you compare the size of the head with his predecessor, I mean, look how big that head sculpt was. I mean, I didn't think they'd shrink it too much. So another thing I did not like about the figure, probably my biggest gripe, is this. I mean, what in the Allspark is this? This is supposed to be his blaster. And then this is how it works. You fold the hand like this. Do it on the other hand as well. And then you connect it. I mean, seriously, Hasbro? Seriously, that's his gun. I mean, I thought this was puny. I mean, I honestly felt this was like a toy gun they gave to this Optimus Prime. They gave him an even smaller pea shooter with this one. And if I'm not mistaken, everybody saw how big Optimus Prime's gun was in the film. Look how huge this thing is. I mean, come on. Now, granted that, okay, CGI wasn't complete when they were designing this product. I mean, Hasbro designs months ahead before production, so okay, we're not going to fault them for that. But still, which designer, or who in his right mind actually thought that this pea shooter was going to be Optimus Prime's gun? I mean, did they spend all that budget on the paint and all that they had so little budget, so little plastic left, that this was the only amount of plastic they had just to make him a gun? That's not the worst of it. There's a 5mm peg hole right there. And you would think that if you had a blast effect, it would fit in his blaster. But no! Somebody decided, again, who in his right mind would put this spike right there? I don't know if you can see it. They've actually put a spike at the tip of the blaster. I mean, come on, really? Why do you need that kind of aesthetic? Was that the initial design of the gun? I mean, even so, they could have taken liberties and just got rid of that. Now, you're probably saying that's probably an easy fix. You can just scrape it off, cut it off and all that, but it's going to ruin the product, especially if you're planning on reselling this thing in the future when a better figure comes along. You don't want to ruin the product. And you're thinking, maybe this one won't fit. Maybe this will fit. Nope, still doesn't. Maybe this will fit. Nope, you have to find the right kind of fit. It doesn't really even, it looks like a lightsaber that he just produced. Like, I mean, come on. Seriously. Which designer thought of this? He should be canned. He should be fired. I mean, come on, man. Oh, and by the way, when you're trying to unfold the gun, don't fold this one all the way up. There's a clearance issue. You have to fold the panel just like this. And you can, the fist will clear that panel. So, yeah. Let's talk about plastic quality very quickly. Now, at first glance, you're thinking, man, the plastic looks super cheap. Like, look at this plain vanilla gray plastic everywhere, unpainted. Oh, that's another thing I did not like about the figure. They had a lot of budget for paint for the gunmetal gray for here, and the wheels and all that, but no paint for the smokestacks, for the supposedly metallic paint apps. Should have been given for these pieces. Like, you know, third party does it better. They should have molded the plastic in this pearlesque, glossy type of plastic so that they didn't want to paint these pieces. Look at this. Look how third party companies did it. A much better type of glossy plastic. But going back to my point, it feels cheap. The red plastic feels cheap. The blue plastic feels cheap. This one feels cheap, or I should say looks cheap at first glance. But when you hold it, when you actually try and bend it and squeeze and all that, the plastic feels very premium. I kid you not being sarcastic or anything, but it is solid, cheap looking plastic. Truly, this figure is more than meets the eye. Really solid. I was shocked. Sure, it has a little bit of a give. I mean, it will bend a little bit if you try and fold it, but even the way it bends, it's a very solid feel. So I am shocked at how cheap it looks, but how premium it feels. As far as articulation goes, the neck is on a ball joint. The shoulders can go in and out, mostly because of transformation. You got a swivel forward and backward. You got bicep swivel. Sort of double hinged elbows, mainly due to transformation. Wrists have a swivel and can move a little bit in and out because of transformation. And here's the game-changing bit of articulation for this figure. And it's mainly due to the transformation. He's got this really cool 90-degree ab crunch. And that just changes everything in terms of articulation. You can have, like I mentioned with the mainline Optimus Prime, you can have him in Spider-Man poses like that because of this game-changing ab crunch. I mean, come on, look at that. Now here's the weird part of the articulation, the hip joint. You can hinge the hips or the legs in and out, do the splits, but there is a hinge joint on his crotch instead of on the pelvis. So that means he can kick like pretty high. I mean, it's not just 45 degrees, but like 120 degrees up because of that joint. But the downside is he can't kick back. He's got a thigh swivel, hinge knees that bend about 100 degrees, more than 90 degrees. And the feet do up and down because it's on a ball joint. And you've got a hinge right here for the rocker tilt. The joints are super tight. You can hold poses here and there. So great. The sword can fit right here just before I forget. So you have him holding like this. And, you know, with this thing and the sword's okay. I just feel it's a little too small. I think I'm just going to wait for DNA Design to come up with their kit to replace these weapons. Let's get him transformed into his truck mode. It's a little complicated, a little complex, but not annoying. As with most Studio Series figures go, a lot of times the transformation can be annoying, but this one's actually pretty satisfying. What you do is you open the chest like this, flip this one up, and reveal the matrix of leadership. I mean, nice little matrix of leadership would have been nice there. Put this flap over here. So fold the neck piece like this. See, I think that's where the shrunken head comes into play. They needed the head to fit this very small cavity, but I honestly think a few more millimeters, maybe increasing it by 10, 20% would have been okay. But I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to trust Hasbro and say that they did that right. Okay, so close the chest that way. Okay, unfold this bit right here. Go ahead and I think at this point we can fold up the fists. Okay, and then you want to rotate the arms or the biceps 180 degrees. And then fold up the arms like this. Bend that game-changing ab crunch like that. Go ahead and fold out the wheels. Okay, rotate this piece right here. Now it's gonna get caught here because of this piece, and again, some slight inaccurate measurement. Just open one of the panels of his chest, and you'll be able to rotate that chest assembly, and that's that. Okay, now the arms, they are going to fold up here and then rotate like that. Fold up and then rotate. Okay, very crucial step. Don't miss that. Okay, fold up these pieces out, these panels like that. And then at this point, you can kind of see where this thing is going. So rotate and fold the arms like you would a G1 Optimus Prime figure. Like this, this. You gotta fold these panels down like this. Okay, fold, fold. Okay, okay, and then you're gonna fold these pieces like this. You're gonna tab in. You gotta squeeze it under and tab. Okay, and these panels right here, they're gonna tab in, tab in. Okay, and then this front part, the backpack, becomes the front grille of the truck. And you're gonna these peg holes right there. You're gonna tab onto those pegs. And now for the legs, I'm gonna untab the shins. Fold that and untab the shins. And they're going to bend and fold up like this. Bend and fold up like this. Go ahead and rotate these pieces right like this. The feet, they are going to rotate like this, 90 degrees, and they're going to tab onto the inside of the leg. Same thing on this side, rotate, and there's that peg right there. It's going to tab onto the feet. And then you put the sword right here in the middle, and then tab the legs together. Sword's going to stay right there. Make sure you straighten out the legs, otherwise the truck is not going to roll properly. Okay, and then tab these pieces right here to secure the thighs. Okay, and then these pieces, like I mentioned, they're going to tab onto the smokestacks. So tab, 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 and tab. Okay, one last step. You want to fold these panels down like that. The pea shooter stays right here. And you know what? It's a very, very solid looking truck mode, except for the fact that it's got some kibble here and there. I don't know how they're going to fix that. It's an eyesore, but it's still, I mean, it doesn't detract too much from the truck being very, very solid. Let me fold this up. So yeah, very, very cool looking truck mode. Rolls very nicely. Kibble is slightly forgivable. You got a nice little grill here. That's, again, sorely unpainted. Would have been nice if they could have painted the gas tanks, the grill, top part. I mean, these pieces here and there, or molded them in glossy plastic, but they didn't. So, yeah, kind of sucks. Okay, let me just show off the diorama that came in the box. It's the streets of Peru, so it'll fit nicely. If you have Scourge, you could just go and bash Scourge in the streets of Peru. So let's do some comparisons in alt mode. Here he is with the mainline Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Optimus Prime. It's like a kiddie truck. This one's like a real truck. And then here he is with the Nightverse or Bumblebee movie Studio Series Optimus Prime. Apologies for not transforming him properly. Some of the parts are just super glued, so obviously this one's a knockoff because of the paint, but it's the same mold. You get the idea. So, yeah, he's not as big as the original Bumblebee movie Studio Series Optimus Prime, where the design was largely taken from, but he's definitely not too small like this mainline one. So he's right there. I think the size is actually pretty good, if you ask me. And then here he is with the rest of the gang. You got Studio Series RC, Studio Series Bumblebee, and mainline Mirage. And now that I look at it, Mirage is a little bit too small. And so some final thoughts on the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Optimus Prime. Man, I totally enjoyed this figure. I did have a lot of couple of complaints here and there, mainly the weapons and the lack of paint apps, and yeah, a couple of things here and there. But overall, I'm very satisfied with this figure, and I think I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier in the video. This is my favorite Studio Series Optimus Prime figure to date. Man, I hope they give him a trailer. I hope there's a third-party company who's planning like a trailer, a jet wing, weapons, a blaster cannon for this Optimus Prime, because I'm totally on board with an upgrade kit for this figure. Now, despite requiring some more upgrades, on its own, it's not bad. Plastic quality was amazingly very good. Despite looking very cheap, it feels very premium. Transformation was actually pretty satisfying, not as annoying as some of the other Studio Series figures we've had in the past. Articulation, posability, overall playability was just spot on with this figure. This figure is going to get 9.5 out of 10. Definitely one to pick up. If you love the movie and you're into these Studio Series figures, you've got to pick this one up. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Studio Series Buzzworthy Bumblebee Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Optimus Prime. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.